season. And my upper body strength's not very good because I'm not going to the gym or anything at the moment. So quite selfish reasons, really. But anyway, we're going to start with our usual feet hip width apart, knees nice and soft. And we're just going to rock that weight forwards over the balls of the feet and then back over the heels. Try not to grip with the toes. Try to control that move forward with the core. So make the core be the one that stops you from tippling over the front. It's making sure weight's nice and evenly distributed throughout the feet, throughout the foot. So we're going to move forwards, find that core engagement, and then bring it back to center, maintaining that core engagement. Finding neutral with the pelvis, hands on the hips, and just really tucking that tailbone under, stretching through that lower back area, and then arching forward. So stick that bottom out behind. So just a few pelvic tilts. And then we're finally going to slide that tailbone in between the legs, the hip bones are level, also drawing up through that pelvic floor. So we've lessened that arch in the lower back. Core's nice and strong. Grow nice and tall with the spine. So crown of the head up towards the ceiling, nice and tall, and then bringing the shoulders up, down, and back all the time. Maintaining that core engagement and that slight lift of the pelvic floor. So everything feels nice and tight around the center. So now for a bit of arm work. I'll also do some leg work in there, get a bit of a 2-for-1. So we're going to slide those shoulder blades down and back away from the ears. We're going to bring the arms up level with the shoulders, palms facing up towards the ceiling. So really lengthen out through the arms. Just be careful not to bring the shoulders too close to the ears. And we're just going to start with some very small arm circles. It's a bit of a challenge, this one, because we're going to keep the arms up for quite a while in the warm-up, just to add a bit of upper body in there as well. But all the time making sure that core's switched on, spine's in neutral, tailbone slightly tucked under, so nice and strong through the center. So very small, controlled arm circles. Let's go for 5 more in this direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to take the circles back in the opposite direction. So nice small circles of the arms. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we're going to bring the palms to facing the front. And just a slight soften of the elbow and then a reach. So it's a lengthen, so it's a little elbow bend, just loosening that joint and then reach. So there's hardly any movement there, but keep those arms at level with the shoulders. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. So it's a little soft bend and then extension. Let's go for 5. Looks quite easy this, but then it'll start to burn shortly. 3, 2, and 1. Then we're going to tricep push. We're going to bring the palms to facing the back of the room, and we're going to squeeze with the triceps without extending through the spine. So keep that core switched on, keep that tailbone tucked. Let's take it for 8, 7, 6. So it's also working upper spine, this one. 5, 4, should be a little bit of heat in the shoulders now. 3 on the arms. 2, and 1. And then we're coming back to center. We're going to bring the thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling and now taking it into tabletop pose. We're keeping the thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to bend into our tabletop. Feel that nice stretch down the hamstring and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep those arms level with the shoulders, coming back out of tabletop pose. Palms facing the front. We're going to shuffle the feet out to quite a lot wider than hip width. Toes out on the diagonal. Bring the arms up into Y shape. We're going to take it into a lat pull down now. So the knees are going to travel out over the toes as we pull down. Nice and deep into a squat. Imagine we're sliding the spine down a brick wall, coming back up, reaching for the ceiling, and then back down. All the time making sure those shoulders stay down. So just a few squats to warm up through the legs. Squeezing those shoulder blades down together at the bottom of that squat. Let's go for 4 more. What do I have next? Oh yeah. 3, 2, and we're not resting just yet. Let's stay down in our squat for this one. So pull those shoulder blades together. We're going to heel raise with the right heel and lower. Left heel raise and lower. We're going to pulse it for 8. Oh, look a bit silly. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Driving out of that squat through the heels. Shuffling the feet back together, going back into our Y shape, thumbs pointing behind us. We're then going to take it back down into our tabletop pose. So pushing that bottom out behind, weight over the heels, keeping those arms level with that upper body. We're going to push the thumbs up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking it back up out of our tabletop position. We're then going to bring the arms into goal posts. So elbows level with the shoulders, forearms vertical, and we're just going to work that cactus stretch. It's a nice stretch across the chest. So imagine we're stood against a brick wall. Try not to arch through the spine. Keep that core active. Let's take it down for 5. Nearly there. 4, 3, 2, and last one, 1. Nice, well done. Bringing the arms back, level with the shoulders. What was my last one? Bringing the hands behind the head now. We're going to take it into some slight spine extension. So at the moment, gaze is forwards, elbows out to the side, core switched on. We're just going to take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale, breath. Exhale as we slide the ribs back down towards the hip. Keep that tailbone tucked under. We're going for 3 more. Nearly there, and then we'll have a really nice roll down. And last one. Inhale, take that gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, breath. Slide the ribs back down towards the hips. And then we're going to take it into roll down from here, which will feel really lovely. So just pushing the chin towards the chest. And then rolling the spine down. We can start to let those arms dangle. Work that flexion of the spine. Just let everything relax now. So the arms are relaxed, the arms are just dangling. The head's just dangling, the neck switched off. There's no creases in the back of the neck. Just enjoy that nice stretch for a couple of breaths. So nice deep inhale, breath through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Move the weight towards the front of the foot. Feel that stretch down the back of the legs. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. And then on the next exhale, we'll start to rebuild. So take a deep inhale. As we exhale, we're drawing the tummy button away from the thighs, pushing up into the spine, just letting those arms dangle, rolling back up. Rolling back out. Lovely, nice big shoulder roll when we reach the top. Feel like the shoulders have worked. Coming towards the end of the mat, make our way down to the floor. So we're just going to tabletop to get down. Getting quite warm now. So bringing the arms up into a full body stretch. Tailbone tucked between the legs, core switched on. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're folding. Pushing the weight back over the heels, hinging from the hips. Keep those arms framing the face. Feel that lovely pull down the back of the legs. Let's hold it for 2 breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then on the next exhale breath, we're coming down into our flop. So we want the whole of the palm of the hand to be able to touch the floor. So we might need to pop a bend into the knees here. We're going to walk it down the mat into 4-point kneeling. So halfway down the mat, sorry. Bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders. We're going to bend through the knees, so the knees come underneath the hips, and we're going to take it into a little knee hover. So don't come all the way down with the knees. We're going to hover. 3, 2, 1. And then push the bottom up towards the ceiling. Push the weight back into the heels. Push the head through the arms. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale back to our knee hover. So just bring those shoulders over the wrists. Bring those knees down to just above the floor. If you need to put the knees all the way down, please do. Push the floor away with the hands, so we've got nice active shoulders. 2, 1, back up into our, what's it called, downward dog. Head through the arms. Press the heels back into the floor. Get that lovely stretch into the calf. And let's go again into our knee hover. We're going to hover the knees. We're going to hold it here for 4. Really engage through the core, really push that floor away with the hands, shoulders nice and active. That's lovely, Linda. Holding for 2 and 1, and just gently bring the knees down onto the floor. Have a sit back into the heels. Take a step forward with the arms. Give the arms a really good stretch. Bring the forehead in between the arms and just relax there for a few seconds. We're then going to come into 3/4 plank, working the triceps a little bit here. So bringing the wrists over, bringing the shoulders over the wrists. We're going to shuffle the knees back behind the hips so the core becomes nice and engaged. So into 3/4 plank, elbow creases pointing forwards. We're going to inhale as we lower down. Bring the head down in front of the hands, and then exhale, pushing back up. So really working the back of the arm. Inhale as we lower, and exhale as we push. Paying a little bit of attention tonight on that upper body. Shoulders, arms. Let's go for 3 more. Inhale it down. Exhale as we push. Last 2. Try not to hinge from the hips. Inhale and exhale nice and through. And last one. Inhale it down. And exhale, pushing back up. You should feel that in the back of the arms. Sit it back again into our child's pose. Have a little rest there for a couple of breaths. And then we'll have a little lateral flexion of the spine as well. So just walking the hands all the way around to one side, popping the hand down the floor. The other hand comes on top of that hand, and just feel that lovely stretch into the side of the waist. Nice deep breaths. Feel the stretch across the rib cage. And then walking back through the centre and over to the other side. Hand on top of the other, feel that stretch into the side of the body. Really breathing into the bottom and the side of the lungs as well. And then we're coming back to centre. We're going to come back up into our box position, so 4-point kneeling position, knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders. We're going to replace the wrists with our elbows. So bring the elbows down onto the floor, push the floor away with the elbows. So we've got, again, nice active shoulders. Draw that tummy button up towards the spine so the core's nice and strong. We're going to slide the right leg. No, we're not actually, sorry. Right foot, we're going to bring up towards the right glute. So squeeze the heel of the right foot up towards the bottom. Transfer the weight over onto the left knee. And then as if we're keeping a tennis ball behind that right kneecap, we're going to come up, squeezing from that right glute, and then lower back down. So keep that tennis ball squeezed behind the knee, squeeze, and lower. Keeping that core nice and strong, keeping the hips nice and still. Really working that right glute and the core and still the shoulders. Let's keep that going. Squeeze that foot up, keeping those hips nice and square to the floor. Keep that right heel towards the right bottom, right glute, sorry. Let's go for 3 more. 1, 2, and last one. Meet me at the top with the leg, so squeeze that knee up, and we're going to then lengthen, extend the leg, working those hamstrings, and squeeze the heel back towards the bottom. So it's a lengthen, extension, and squeeze. Keeping those hips square, keeping that core switched on. Let's go for 2. And 1. We're going to stop with the extension. We're going to then bring the right foot across, tap down to the floor with the toe, up and over. So we're drawing a very shallow semicircle, tap, and back up and over. So really working that right glute, tap, up and over, tap. So you should feel the obliques in the core here, so the side of the waist, really trying to stabilize any movement from the spine. Let's go for 3 more taps. 1, 2, and last one, 3. We're going to bring that leg back up level with the body, bend through the knee, flex through the ankle, so a heel pushing towards the ceiling. So imagine we've got a coffee cup on the sole of the right foot, really working that right glute. We're going for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lengthen back out through the leg. Bring the toe down towards the floor. Slide the knee back underneath the hip. And have a good sit back into the heels there. Lengthen that glute back out again. Well done. Quite a glutey one today. And then we've just worked the right glute. We're going to carry on working the right glute by coming down onto our left-hand side. Just make sure there's anyone doing that. Right, so we need to be lying on our left-hand side. What we're starting with first. So we're going to work climb first. So feet in line with the bottom, hips are stacked one on top of the other, core switched on, so just lift that waist up from the floor, and then we're just going into a normal climb. So with those leg raises that we've just done, we're working the glute max on the right-hand side. We're working the side of the bottom this time. Slightly different direction, so we're externally rotating that leg, so giving the hips a really good workout. Squeezing up, keeping those heels together, keeping that core engaged. Let's go for 3 more. 1, nice and controlled. 2, try not to roll back on the hip. And 3, bring the knees together. We're then going to elevate the feet. And climb with elevated feet. So we should be able to open that hip a little bit more. Should start to feel a slight burning sensation in the side of the bottom. We're going to add in an extension on this next one. So as we open as wide as we can without rolling back on those hips, and then extend the leg away. Imagine somebody's pulling the foot away, engage through the quad. That's it. So raise, extend, feet and knees. Let's keep that going. Last 3. Open, extend, feet and knees. Last 2. Open, extend, feet and knees. On this next one, we're going to hold it in our extension. So open, extend. See if we can rotate further by just bringing that kneecap a little bit more up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. I'm shaking. Bring those heels together. Bring the knees together. Bring those feet down on the floor. Not quite finished. Bringing the knees level with the hips now. Again, core still switched on. We're deadlifting this top leg now. So foot and knees stay at the same level as we just open up the hip, keeping those hips stacked and lowering back down. So really think about making the side of the bottom hard. So visually think about really tensing the glute to isolate that particular muscle. And on this next one, we're just going to hold the knee just above hip level. Small circles. This is not nice, is it? First one back. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the circles back in the opposite direction for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold and release. Well done. Give the bottom a really good rub there. Then doing a little bit of oblique work, we're going to come down onto the arm or a cushion, if you prefer, cushion underneath the head. We're just keeping the neck in line with the spine. We're then going to lengthen this top leg out level with the body, bringing the arm overhead so we're in one nice straight line. Take an inhale breath here, and as we exhale, we're leg raising, we're reaching up towards the ankle, so lifting up through the head and shoulders, squeezing from the side of the waist, and then inhale as we lower back down. Exhale, breath, we come up, reach for the ankle, ankle, create some rolls into this right hand side of the waist, and inhale as we lower it back down. So we're really shortening the distance between that bottom right rib and the right hip, squeezing up, lovely. And last 2. Exhale, raise. Perfect. Inhale, lower. Last one, let's hold it up, 3 breaths. Exhale, breath, reach up towards the ankle, keep the top of the foot, keep the knee facing the front. 3, 2, and 1. And inhale as we lower it back down. Well done. We're going to then work on the obliques again. This time, left hand side of the obliques. So coming up onto the elbow, coming into a half side plank position. So we're going to come up from the knees. Create a nice strong triangle between the body and the mat. So push the floor away again with the elbow so the shoulder stays away from the ear. We're going to come up into side plank. So lift the hips up from the mat, squeeze the hips up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, lower back down with control. So that's our level 1 exercise. Exhale, think about pushing the elbow into the mat, keep that shoulder nice and strong, and lower back down. Next level, top leg comes in front, we're coming up into full side plank. Lift those hips up nice and high, and with control, come back down, making sure that shoulder doesn't creep up towards the ear. So take it at your level. I know side planks aren't everyone's favourite. And lower. On this next one, we're going to stay up. We're going to hold up in side plank, and then we're going to come into a rotation. So we're going to bring the arm through, reaching down, and then back up. We're going to go for 4, 3, 2, and last one. Rotate through, lift into a nice side plank, hips nice and high, and then control those hips back down onto the floor. Well done. Twizzling around onto our back as we've been working the right glute. One more exercise just to finish you off with the right glute. So bringing it into shoulder bridge now. So bringing the heels quite close to the bottom so the heels are directly underneath the knees. Arms down by the side. We're going to take it up into our shoulder bridge. So we go from neutral spine to imprint. We're pushing that lower back down into the floor before we peel the spine up from the mat. So at this point, we want that pubic bone higher than the hip bone to keep that tailbone tucked under. We're going to work right glute on this one. So really push the weight through that right heel. Level 1, we're going to heel raise and lower with the left heel. So left heel up, left heel down. Level 2, we're tabletopping with the left leg. So really concentrate on pushing that weight through the right heel as we come up into our tabletop with that left leg. So lift and lower. Don't allow the hips to drop, keep those hips level. And then whether you're at level 1 or level 2, so either left heel raise or left leg raise, we're going to stay and we're going to pull. So we're going to slightly drop the hips down and then push them back up towards the ceiling. So it's a drop and a squeeze. Drop, squeeze. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and squeeze those hips up nice and high. Bring the left foot down towards the floor. Bring the left heel down towards the floor. Inhale, breath. Exhale, slowly release the spine back down towards the mat. Well done. That's your right glute done. Right, I should have said at the beginning of the class, have you got bands with you? Has everyone got a band? I'm going to have to rush off. Don't worry if you haven't got a band there, we can accommodate without. Just so you get a nice stretch. Sorry, I should have mentioned that right at the beginning. So we're just simply going to use the band over the right foot, lengthening the right leg up towards the ceiling. So try and get the leg as straight as we can. Nice gentle pull. Feel the length down the back of the right leg. And then when you're ready in position, slide the left leg away to get a nice stretch into that left hip. And then we're just going to bring the leg over the body until we feel that nice stretch down the outside of that right thigh into that right glute. And hold that stretch there. For 3, 2, 1. We're going to bring the leg back up towards the ceiling and now work an assisted roll up with the band if we have them. So grabbing the band, one in each hand, nice gentle pull there on the back of the leg, take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to push the foot into the band as we bring the chin towards the chest and start to peel the spine up from the floor. So nice assisted roll up, coming up, and then lengthening at the top. So everyone got a band? Yeah, I think we have. Nice and tall with the spine. Take an inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going back down. So leading with the pelvis. Pelvis leads. Get the waistband of the trousers as close to the floor as we can. As we start to come back down, start to bring that right leg back up. Control that spine down as slowly as we can. Nice gentle pull when we reach the top. Let's go again. Inhale, breath. Exhale, chin comes towards the chest. Push the band away with the foot as we roll the spine back up. Nice and slowly. When we're on top of the sit bones, lengthen. Crown of the head towards the ceiling. Inhale, breath. Exhale, let's go back down. Roll it down slowly as we can. That looks really nice. Head comes down. Last one, take an inhale breath as we exhale. Chin comes towards the chest, so lengthen the back of the neck. Roll it back up. Extend at the top when we're on top of those sit bones. Inhale, breath. Last one, exhale, we're rolling it back down. Controlling it back down for some core. One vertebrae at a time. Nice gentle pull. Feel that lovely stretch down the back of the legs first. Bend the knee and get rid of the band for a second. What have we got next? Level 1 scissors. So, finding our neutral spine again, so just remind yourselves it's hip bones and pubic bone level, so there's a little gap underneath that lower arch at the back. One way of thinking about it is having a cup of tea balanced within that triangle that the hip bones and the pubic bone create. So we don't want to spill that cup of tea, they need to stay level. Okay, so engaging through the core, fixing those hips nice and still. We're just going to start with level 1 scissors, so just bringing the right leg up to tabletop position without any movement from the pelvis or the spine, and then lowering back down. So it's just a little march, left leg comes up, and then lowers back down, just to make sure we've got that correct muscle engaged, there's no movement going on. If you want to put your hands on the hips, you can do. We're not lengthening the distance between the rib and the hip, just slowly coming up and down. So there's your level 1 and lower. Level 2, we're going to bring one leg up to tabletop, bring the second leg up to tabletop, and then we're going to scissor straight legs, not straight legs, sorry, bent legs and toe taps. Again, without any movement from the spine, keep the spine in neutral. Level 3, we're going to bring the hands behind the head, interlinking the fingers and lifting the head and shoulders up away from the floor. So let the hands just carry the weight of the head here, so we're not straining the neck. We don't want the neck to tire, we want to tire out the core. So we're working level 1 scissors with a head raise. Nice circular breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keeping that pelvis really still, really quiet, no movement apart from the legs. Want to make this a little bit harder. We're bringing both legs up into tabletop position. We're going to sit the knees and the feet together and lower both legs down. So really working that 6-pack muscle. Exhale as we come back up to center. Inhale as we lower. Exhale back up. Lovely. That looks really good. Let's go 4 more. Inhale it down. Nice and through. Exhale it back up. Looks good, backs. Really working right down the center of those abdominals. Last one. You notice how I skipped those because they're really hard. Exhale, lift. Well done. Bring the head and shoulders down. Bring the feet down one at a time. And then just take it out into a nice release, full body stretch. Arms behind the head. Imagine somebody's pulling hands and feet in opposite directions, and then lift the spine away from the mat. Get that really nice length down the front of the abdominals. And deep breaths. Again, stretching out that rib cage. Next exercise, we're going to add a little bit of rotation in. We did this on the Friday before half term, for those of you at that session. So we're going to bring the feet back up onto the floor. We're going to work spine twist with a bit of a difference. So we're going to bring the arms out to the side, like we normally do with our spine twist on our backs. Palms facing up towards the ceiling, so keeping those shoulders open. And then we're going to bring the legs up into tabletop position, one at a time. No lift from the spine, no doming from the tummy. We can revert to imprint here, by the way, so if you feel safer pushing that lower back down into the floor, please do. And then squeezing the knees together, we're going to inhale as we lower the legs down to one side. Both shoulder blades stay flat to the floor, and then exhale as we work through the abdominals, bringing those legs up and over. So inhale it down and exhale it up. So working across the waist, trying to work muscles in all directions. That looks good. So keep that going. So for this exercise, we are definitely still using the core, but we're relying quite a lot on the arms for us to not tipple over. So if you meet me back in the center, give you another option. We're going to anchor the shoulders down into the floor, bring the arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing. Imagine we're holding 2 glasses of champagne, one in each hand. So this is all core control now. So we're going to do exactly the same exercise again. So inhaling as we come down to one side, as far as we can without tippling over, and exhale it through the center. Inhale it down to the other side, whoa, and exhale back through the middle. So the movement's not quite as big, but you'll definitely feel it a lot more in the core without those arms helping to stabilize us. If you wanted to make this even harder, we can lengthen out through the legs here as well. So like windscreen wipers, don't spill a drop of that champagne. Inhaling it down and exhale it through. So I'll leave it up to you. We're going to do another 5 reps, so you can either go with this complete core control version or bring those arms down if you quite like the stretch that you get with the arms out to the side. Entirely up to you. Last 3 more to each side. Inhale it down, exhale it through. Inhale it down, exhale it through. Last ones. And last one. And then bring it back to center, well done. Bending through the knees, popping the feet down onto the floor. So next exercise, again, abdominals. We're going to keep the feet on the floor, feet hip width apart. We're going to bring the hands behind the head. Spines in neutral, so we've got our cup of tea balance within that triangle. We're going to keep that cup of tea balanced as we exhale. We're going to bring the chin towards the chest, so really lengthen throughout the back of the neck as we lift the shoulder blades up from the floor. We're then going to bring the arms down to the side of the body, palms facing up, and lift up a little bit higher, imprinting that lower back down into the floor. Keeping high, we're going to bring the hands back behind the head and then lower it all back down to the mat. So I'll talk you through it. Inhale, breath, exhale, hands stay behind the head as we come up. The shoulder blades come away from the mat. Arms come down to the side, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Lift up a little bit higher and then bring the hands behind the head, staying as high as we can and lowering back down. Let's keep that going. Exhale, breath, lift. Rotate those arms round on the inhale. Exhale it up a little bit higher. Bring the hands behind the head and slowly control it all back down. You'll definitely feel that waking up the core. So exhale up. Inhale, bring those arms round. Reach up high. Hands come back behind the head. And then lower it all back down to the mat. Let's keep that going. Exhale up. Inhale round. Coming up higher. Hands, this is the hard bit. Bring those hands behind the head. So we're really adding some weight into the lever before we come back down to the floor. Let's go for 3 more. Arms come round, lift up nice and high. Hands come back and lower it down. Last 2. Arms come round, come up higher. Hands come down behind the head and lower it back down. Last one. Exhale it up. Bring those arms around. Lift up a little bit higher. Let's hold it for 3, 2, 1. Hands come back. Ouch. And then lower it all back down to the mat. Well done. Bring the feet out to either side of the mat. Bring the arms out. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. And just roll the knees over in one direction. Rolling the head away from the knees. Keeping the hips as close to the floor as we can so we're not rotating on this one. Just try and feel that nice diagonal stretch across the waist. Nice deep breaths again. And then rolling knees and head back through the center, over to the other side. And then bring head and knees back to center. We're going to roll it up into seated now. So lengthen the legs away or keep that slight bend in the knees if you prefer. Bring the arms behind the head. Have a nice little cheeky full body stretch before we roll back up again. So nice inhale breath. As we exhale, we're going to bring those arms above the shoulders, flat palms facing, anchor the shoulders down. Inhale breath. As we exhale, we're peeling away from the mat. So chin comes towards the chest and we start to bring the spine up one vertebrae at a time. Try to keep the heels down on that. And then lengthening at the top. Lovely. We're going to spine stretch. So bringing the arms parallel with the legs. Imagine somebody's pulling the arms forward and pulling the waist backwards. So we're getting that lovely C curve into the spine. Hold it there for 3, 2, 1. One more roll up. So extend through the spine, crown of the head towards the ceiling, shoulders down and back, arms level with the shoulders, leading with the pelvis again. So that little tuck. Start to think about trying to bring the waistband of the trousers down towards the floor, really scooping out those lower abdominals as we control it back down to the mat. Bringing those arms behind the head. You can have a cheeky little full body stretch there. So lift the spine away from the floor. Bring the arms back up towards the ceiling, anchoring those shoulders. Inhale, breath. Exhale, chin comes towards the chest. And start to peel the spine up from the floor. Lengthening at the top, reaching for the ceiling. And then we're going to forward fold on this one. So leading with the chest, flex through those ankles and just feel that lovely pull down the back of the legs. Holding it there for 3, 2, 1. And release. Well done. A little seated one for you now. So we're going to work dissected saw. Pretty sure we did this in the last block. So just bring the right foot up to the inside of the left leg. So sat nice and tall on the sit bones. We're going to bring the arms out to the side, level with the shoulders. Inhale, breath here. So we're really tall with the spine. As we exhale, we're going to rotate first and then reach to our saw. So sawing off that little toe, 3 pulses, keeping both sit bones anchored. And then we're going to come back to center nice and tall, bringing that right hand down behind us, bringing the left hand up towards the ceiling, and then up onto that right knee, pushing into that left hip. So really lengthening through the left side of the body, and then lowering the bottom back down to the floor. You don't have to come up with the hips if it's not comfortable for you. Coming through the center into our rotation, and then rotate and twist. 2, 3. Restack the spine, rebuild, come back to center. Hand comes behind, fingers point away. So level 1, we can just reach with the arm without lifting those hips up. If you do like that little hip stretch, come up onto that right knee and just lengthen through that left side of the body. And let's go for 2 more on this side. So nice and tall through the center. 1, 2, 3. Rebuild. Come back to center. Right hand comes down. And reach, pushing up into that left hip if we can, right hip as well. And last one, before we do the other side. So rotating through and reach. Keep the sit bones cemented into the floor. Rebuild. Through the middle. Hand comes down and lift up nice and high, lengthening through the body. And then bring the bottom back down to the floor with control before we switch. Doing exactly the same on the other side. So left foot up to inside of right leg. Arms level with the shoulders, crown of the head towards the ceiling. We're going to rotate and reach, 2, 3, rebuild. Bring that left hand behind and shoot that arm up towards the ceiling, pushing into the hips there. Really nice stretch, really like that stretch. Bottom comes back down, up and over. 1, 2, 3, lovely. Bring it back through, hand comes down and lift. Lovely, Linda, that's good. And lower, last one on this side. Well, last one, finished. Well, we haven't finished, but 1, 2, 3, rebuild through the center. Let's take it up into a really nice stretch of the hips, stretch out through the right side of the body, really reach that right arm behind us, and then lower the bottom back down to the floor with control. And then, unfortunately, we're back to our glutes, left side this time. So into our 4-point kneeling position, hands underneath shoulders, push the floor away with the hands, come down to the elbows, making sure those shoulders remain active. We're going to slide the left leg as far away from the body as possible. So really engage with that left quad. Try to lock the knee out on this one. Make sure that spine stays in that lovely neutral position, core switched on. We're going to bend through the left knee, squeezing the left heel up towards the left glutes. And then we're going to lift, squeeze, and bring the left knee back down. Not to the floor, just let it skim past the floor and squeeze. So imagine we're gripping an orange behind that kneecap. Try not to lean over that right knee. Keep the right hip directly above that right knee. Keep those hips level. So just working, squeezing that left glute. Keeping that core on. So don't let that lower back arch. Let's go for 4, 3, perfect. 2, and 1. We're going to stay lifted with that left leg. We're then going to extend. So engage with the quad. Imagine somebody's pulling that foot away from you. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keeping the leg extended, but then you're just going to bring it across the right leg, tap into our little shallow semicircle. Try not to wave the hips around, keep those hips nice and still. Really use that core engagement to fix those hips nice and still. This is where you'll feel sides of the waist, really working hard to stabilize the body, because the body just wants to bend as the leg moves over. Let's go for 3 more toe taps. 1, 2, and 3. Bring that leg back up, squeeze that left glute. We're going to flex the left knee, flex the left ankle, heel pushes now. So we're going to really push the ceiling away with the heel. I always lose the ability to exercise and talk at the same time. If I have any time off, it's not worth it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push, push, push. Lengthen back out through that leg. Bring the toe down. Slide the knee back underneath and have a sit back into the heels. Whew. Well done. Side lying now. Sorry, I'm running out of time to military first through you this last bit. So coming down Onto our side, we're going to go with our clam first. So hips are stacked, ribs and hip equal distance on each side, heels stay together. So working the glute, slightly different direction, keeping those heels together, opening and closing, externally rotating that leg. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees together, lifting the feet away from the mat, going into our elevated climb. So we should be able to open the hip up a little bit more, just checking with the waist, make sure we've not sunk into the floor. Imagine we have an ice cube underneath there that we're trying not to melt. Control it back together. So let's start with the extension on this one. So open, extend, engage with that quad, feet and knees. Open, extend, feet and knees. Last 3, 1. 2, extend, and last one, we're going to hold on the extension. So open up the hip first, really extend that leg away. We're holding it for 3, 2, 1. Bring the heels back, bring the knees back, bring the feet down to the floor. Shuffling up, knees in line with the hips, core switched on. Knee and foot stay at the same level, so don't let the knee lead or don't let the foot lead. We're just opening, deadlifting this top leg basically. Again, really visualize, really try to think about hardening this side of the bottom. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leg stays at just above hip level. We're going for those very little circles. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the circle back in the opposite direction. So this is the problem when you come up with a new routine, kind of timing. I'm going to overrun a little bit, I think. 3, 2, 1, and bring the knees back together. Well done. Bringing the head down onto the arms, the neck's in line with the spine. We're lengthening this top leg away, in line with the body. Same distance on both sides, rib and hip. Everything stays nice and square. We're going to bring that arm over the head. Take an inhale breath, but we're nice and long. And as we exhale, we're lifting up with the head and shoulders, reaching up towards the ankle. And then inhale as we lower back down. So really closing the distance between that bottom left rib and left hip. Really create some rolls into that side of the waist. And let's go for 3 more. 1. And lower. 2. Reach, reach, reach. Keep the knee and the top of the foot facing the front. And inhale, lengthen it back down. And last one, let's hold it up. 3 breaths. Reach for that ankle. Squeeze from that left side of the waist. 3, 2, 1. And lower back down with control. Well done. Taking it into our side plank now. Elbow underneath shoulder. Pushing the floor away with the elbow. So level 1's coming from the knee. So the knees are folded to the side. We're going to take an inhale breath and then just really reach those hips up towards the ceiling, squeezing from that right side of the waist and lower it back down. Bringing that bottom back down. Level 2's, straighten out through the legs, top leg in front, full side plank, so coming up from the feet, reaching up with the hips and lowering it back down. So whichever level you prefer, you do, but just make sure that shoulder is really engaged. We don't sink into the shoulder. So we're going to go for 3, and lower. 2, exhale it up, and last one, we're going to stay up. So reach those hips up, adding in our rotation, 4 reps. So we're going to bring that left hand through, feeding through for 1, reach up, 2, reach up, 3, nearly there everyone. Sorry, this is actually quite a harsh class, isn't it, for first one back, I've just realised. And reach, and lower it back down with control. Well done. Coming on to our backs. Let's do our last shoulder bridge and then have a stretch. So bring those feet nice and close to the bottom, heels directly underneath. We're in neutral at the moment with the pelvis and spine. So take an inhale breath. We're going to exhale. We're going to imprint, so lift that pubic bone higher than the hip bones and start to peel the spine away from the floor. Squeezing those glutes at the top. Make that pubic bone higher than the hip bones. We're working left glute now, so we're either coming up into a right heel raise and lower, or right tabletop raise and lower without any dipping from the hip. So all that weight is pushing through the left heel. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and then we're going to stay lifted. So really push that weight through that left heel, or keep that right heel raised. And we're just going to dip and squeeze. Dip and squeeze. 5 more. 4, 3, let's really tie that left glute out. 2, squeeze. Last one, squeeze. Bring the right foot down. Bring the right heel down. Bring the arms behind the head. And release the spine back down towards the floor. 1 vertebrae at a time. Control it down. Well done. Taking it out into a full body stretch at the bottom. So really peel that spine up away from the mat and really lengthen down those abs. And I think we probably should do a nice glute stretch. So bring the arms down to the side, bring the feet up onto the floor. So imprint the spine for this one. We're going to bring the right foot across the left knee, pushing that right leg out to the side. So if that's enough of a stretch for you into that right glute, stay there. If not, imprinting the spine, we're going to lift the left leg up into tabletop position. Grab hold of that right ankle just to take the pressure off the left hip flexor. And then if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch again, we're going to lift the spine away from the floor. So really push up into the back. You should feel a really lovely stretch there into that right glute. It has been a bit of a glutey workout. Let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the spine down before we pop that left leg down onto the floor. Do exactly the same on the other side. So left foot over right knee. Imprint the spine first, just to keep that lower back nice and safe. Bring the right leg up into tabletop position. If you want to increase it a little bit further, grab hold of that left ankle, just to take the pressure off the right hip flexor. And then again, lift the spine away from the floor. Get a lovely deep stretch into the glute. Let's hold it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Before we pop the leg down there, press that spine down into the floor, protect that lower back. Feet come down 1 at a time. We're going to twizzle straight onto our fronts. I'm really sorry that I'm having to rush you through the nice bit, but you did work really hard. So coming down onto our fronts, hands underneath the shoulders. Let's step the feet out to either side of the mat so the legs are out nice and wide. Just relax the bottom, relax the legs. Elbows into the side of the body. Inhale, breath as we exhale. Push into the palms of the hands. Make sure the chest stays nice and proud, shoulders away from the ears. Again, relax the glutes. Feel that lovely stretch down the front. Nice deep breaths. And then just slowly lower it down halfway. We need to engage through that core. We're going to come up onto the knees, just protect that lower back again, really brace through this abdominals, and we're sitting it back into a nice wide leg child pose. So really bring that upper body down into the floor. Feel that lovely stretch across the chest, down the arms, into the hips. Sorry about my dog. He had an operation last week and was really quiet. I think I preferred him like that. He seems to have bounced back today. So we're coming back onto all fours now, wrists underneath shoulders, soft through the elbows. We're coming into our cat stretch. So scoop the tailbone under, chin comes towards the chest, really push up into the spine there. And then let's just lower through neutral, lengthen, and then start to arch down as we gently squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take the gaze towards the end of the mat, stick the bottom out. And then coming back to neutral. So just lengthen, slight tuck of the tailbone. We're going to turn the toes underneath, coming up into a little knee hover, which feel a bit easier than it did at the beginning of the class. Everything's so awake. And then we're going to start to push the bottom up towards the ceiling, staying on our tiptoes. Start to bring the head through the arms as we start to gently put the heels down towards the floor. Have a little pedal here if you like, just to ease those heels. Feel that stretch into the calf. And then pushing both heels down and back. Keep the knees nice and soft though, as we start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Making transfer the weight back to the feet again. Return to our flock. Relax the forehead, relax the tongue, relax the arms. Take a nice deep inhale breath, and as we exhale, start to wake everything back up again. Really engage through that core. Draw the tummy away from the thighs. Just let those arms dangle. Rolling back up nice and slowly. One vertebrae at a time. And some nice big shoulder rolls when we reach the top. And just slide your shoulder